Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi says the removal of Indian-administered Kashmir's autonomy is to benefit the people of the region. In his Independence Day address, he said the move is to ensure the ideal of one nation, one constitution, which will foster growth.
Our freedom fighters fought hard and long for a free nation. But because of Article 370 and 35A, there were issues. But today I can say, standing here at the Red Fort, with pride, that we are one nation and one constitution.
Let's go now to Faiz Jamil. He was monitoring that address for us from the Indian capital, and it was one, Faiz, that's watched especially closely this year, both inside and outside India, of course, because of the events in Kashmir, and Prime Minister Modi very much repeating the government's stance that these constitutional changes were for the people of Jammu and Kashmir and the country.
Exactly what that was. It was something actually long before the speech, long before anything with these events we saw that began last week. This has been a goal, having Kashmir's autonomy struck since it began decades ago. This was an objective from the Hindu right, with the ideological mentors of the current Bharatiya Janata Party that Prime Minister Narendra Modi belongs to. And he showed that they fulfilled his promise, that just at the beginning of second term, that his government did what he says no other government has done in 70 years. And this is really much a move that has broad support across India, even among opposition parties. It sailed through the upper house of parliament, where the government's in minority, because there's so much widespread support. Now, it did happen, some critics say, without consultation of people in the region. But many people in the regions of Jammu and Ladakh had been in favor of this. It was the Kashmir Valley, which was very much opposed, the Muslim majority part, which has the largest population. But as the Prime Minister said in his speech, he believes this was in benefit for them as well, that this move will eliminate corruption and have all stakeholders, all Indians benefit.
And could the people in the Kashmir Valley watch the Prime Minister's address, Faiz? What are you hearing about the severe restrictions that have been in place there for 10 days now?
Elizabeth, because of those severe restrictions, we haven't heard any reaction yet. It's difficult to get visuals or hear news from there. The last images that Al Jazeera saw from the region, the Kashmir Valley, was from Wednesday. But we saw the security was still in place on the rainy streets there. Very few people ventured out. People had complained to us that it was still hard to even go to the store to get essentials. And the government has now been admitting that, yes, some people were injured in protests that Al Jazeera had reported earlier as well. So there in the Kashmir Valley, we're still waiting. But one big thing which will happen later today is India's Home Minister Amit Shah is expected to hoist the Indian flag at one of the stadiums, which has long been a dream from the Hindu right, but may also could trigger more protests in the region as well.
Faiz, thank you very much for that. For now, that's Faiz Jamil with all the latest live in New Delhi. Thank you. Now, Pakistan is prepared to fight to the end over Kashmir if necessary. The words of Prime Minister Imran Khan during a speech from the Pakistani-administered part of the disputed region. Khan was in Kashmir on Wednesday to mark Pakistan's Independence Day. Osama bin Javed has more from Muzaffarabad in Pakistan-administered Kashmir.
It was a holiday to celebrate the end of British rule and the creation of Pakistan in 1947. But 72 years on, their slogans of freedom remain just that in Muzaffarabad, the capital of Kashmiri territory administered by Pakistan. There's mounting anger against the effective annexation of Indian-administered Kashmir and frustration on the Pakistani side of the divided territory.
This situation wouldn't be resolved with words. The solution is in action. We stand behind Pakistani army.
The Pakistani government has suspended trade and transport links as well as downgrading diplomatic ties. But Kashmiris want more.
These measures don't satisfy us. Indian forces have besieged Kashmiris for the last 10 days. Their lives are in danger. We want Pakistan to take practical measures. An army can only be expelled by another army. Kashmiris have made enough sacrifices.
Government leaders in Islamabad are being pressured by both opposition politicians and Kashmiris to back their words with action. Prime Minister Imran Khan arrived in Muzaffarabad with a message of solidarity and a promise to do all he can. He compared India's ruling Hindu nationalist BJP with Nazis and said Muslims worldwide are looking to the United Nations to stop India violating basic rights. Khan accused India of an anti-Muslim demographic shift and for the first time since the crisis began, shared Pakistani intelligence reports.
We have information and we have had 2 National Security Committee meetings. The Pakistan Army has full knowledge that India has made a plan to take action in Azad Jammu Kashmir, like the action they took in Balakot after Pulwama. According to our information, they have made a more sinister plan now. The army is prepared. Not just the army, but the entire nation will fight alongside our military.
Prime Minister Imran Khan says it will be his responsibility to take the message of Kashmiris to the international community. Pakistan has already asked for an emergency session of the UN Security Council. And while he was delivering that message in the building behind me, Pakistanis across the country were marking their Independence Day in solidarity with Kashmiris. Even the police decorated their patrol cars with the Kashmiri flag alongside Pakistan's. People from all political affiliations in the capital, Islamabad, said they want to remind the world of how India is abusing Kashmiris. Pro-Kashmir independence slogans were chanted in Waziristan and rallies held in tribal areas which used to be under the control of Taliban a few years ago. And what's said to be the largest Pakistani flag made this year, along with a slogan that says Kashmir will become Pakistan. Many of these people are the descendants of tribal fighters who helped the military take control of what is now Pakistan-administered Kashmir. Pakistan insists that there is no other solution than diplomacy, but many Pakistanis who took to the streets feel otherwise. Usama bin Javed, Al Jazeera, Muzaffarabad, Pakistan-administered Kashmir.